Hello, everybody. This is Carol from Friendly Quail. I'm gonna do my flip through of my Secret Garden book, and this is the final flip through. This, of course, is my challenge with Anna from Made by Granat. CarolAnnaChallenge, hashtag CarolAnnaChallenge, where we had to do a writing board, Dutch door, birds, mushroom garden, gnome, child, bees, dogs, coin window, owl, squirrel, and stamps. Those were the things we challenged each other to use. So I am ready to show you my final product. Whoops. There we go. Okay. So I closed it with sari silk with a big bow. It is a little bit of a alligator mouth, so it needed a closure. And I'm going to open this up, and the first thing I'm going to do is inside the cover I have a letter, and this is the story of this book, so I'm going to read it. It's a couple of pages, so bear with me. My dearest friend Cora, I thought it was about time I wrote to tell you what has been going on in my life since you left to marry your sweetheart. Even though I think of you daily, I have not taken the time to write because of all the things that have been going on in my life. I hardly know where to start. Last May, I got a letter from a solicitor asking me to meet with him about an important matter. When I arrived for my appointment, he gave me the news that I had inherited a house and the rest of the estate from my great-uncle Irwin. Imagine my surprise. I hadn't seen Uncle Irwin since my grandfather took me to see him when I was a child. I was handed a ring of keys along with the deed. Since I am now alone in the world and had finished my schooling, I packed my things and went to the house immediately. It is a beautiful old house with extensive gardens, both of which have been well kept. I walked in the gardens daily, marveling at the beauty. When I first arrived, there were spring flowers everywhere, daffodils, forget-me-nots, tulips, a riot of color. I wondered who was caring for the gardens, as there wasn't a weed to be seen. Every day the gardens changed. One whole area was planted with roses. Another area soon filled with irises and poppies. I never knew what I would see next. I thought my uncle must have set up the estate to keep paying a gardener. One day I came across an area in the gardens I had not seen before. There was a wall covered in ivy with a door to enter. The door was locked, so I hurried to the house to get the keys I had been given. One of the keys fit. I walked through the door into the most wondrous fairyland. It seemed to be made just for me. There was a bench under a large tree that I began to sit on every day to read and write in my journal. One day, I thought I saw a small man with a tall red hat run past me. Another day, I thought I saw a fairy. Clearly, the heat was getting to me, as these couldn't be real. Next, I saw what I thought to be another hallucination. A most attractive man was working in my secret garden. I approached him and found he was indeed real. I introduced myself and we began to discuss the gardens. He began to teach me all of the things he had been doing in the gardens to maintain them. The more I learned, the more I wanted to learn, and I will admit that I wanted to impress Andy, as I learned the gardener's was named. I found some books in my uncle's library about gardening and studied them every evening. I found myself each day looking forward to my time in the gardens, especially when talking with the gardener. I felt I was falling in love with him. Uncle Irwin has also left some magazine publications, and in one of them I saw there was to be a lecture in a nearby city by the distinguished botanist Dr. Roberts, who worked for the university and was a famed author of one of my botany books. I told Andy about the lecture, and I asked him if he would like to go hear Dr. Roberts with me. Alas, he said he could not join me. I thought maybe he felt it would not be appropriate for a simple gardener to attend such a lecture. But he encouraged me to attend and said maybe he would meet me there after all. The evening of the lecture I dressed with special care, hoping to see Andy at the lecture, but when I arrived I did not see him. Disappointed, I took a seat near the front of the auditorium. Dr. Roberts was introduced and walked out on the stage. And that was when I realized that Andy was Dr. Andrew Roberts. I almost sunk through the floor in embarrassment and hardly heard a word of the lecture. I tried to sneak out of the lecture hall when the talk was over. I heard Andy call my name, so I stopped and waited until he joined me. I told him I was so embarrassed, and he told me that he was embarrassed because he hadn't known how to tell me who he really was. He wasn't a gardener like I thought. He lived next door and was a good friend of Uncle Irwin. He was checking on the gardens the day I met him and continued to come back because he wanted to know me better. We both laughed, and we continued to spend time together every day. A month ago, he asked me to be his wife. We will be getting married at Christmas, and soon after we will be setting sail for the isles in the South Pacific to study exotic species of plants. If it will work in your plans, may Andrew and I stop to visit you and your husband? Please write back quickly to let me know if this will be possible. We have so much to talk about. As always, I remain your affectionate friend, Edna. So that is the story of the secret garden for my challenge. And I just made a little kind of flap pocket here to keep this letter in. I should fold it better. I'll put it back in later. So here's the door. That's my Dutch door. I have a little tuck spot here with a cigarette card in that has the meadow of the honey. It has hives and bees. This is just a paper with mushrooms on that I aged. And I put it behind my Uncle Irwin's picture. This is a tuck spot, but I put that little thing to help hold this in. Because of the way it is, it doesn't hold it in the best, but it's there. Okay, eco-dyed paper. This is coffee-dyed scrapbook paper, which I made into a pocket. And here I am as a little girl that I found when I got to the house. He still had a portrait of me. And this is just a little cigarette pocket in a little tuck spot here. And I did the owl with the embossed laser cut. Okay. I just put this here. This is one of the bee paper clips. You could put something in there. Just a little bit of a decoration on the page with a paper ruffle. Okay, a real flower I had dried, glued on here. The feathers and paper flowers on this to decorate it, and this journal card. All right, more of the eco-dyed, alcohol ink eco-dyed paper. A little stenciling, some of the mulberry paper from Thailand. And this was eco-dyed on watercolor paper with ginkgo leaves. Okay, here I have a slide that my father had taken of his dahlia, one of his dahlias. I have a pocket that I'll hold it up closer. It's hand embroidered flowers on a thing that was just part of a cardstock from a scrapbook paper. Okay, and then I have one of Tim Holtz's cards in there. This is some more of the wrapping paper. This is wrapping paper as well. And Edith Holden page with a transparency from Tim Holtz. And then here I added this little side tab, and I put just a little bulb pin with some beads on it on some vellum here. Mulberry paper. The Tale of Timmy Tiptoes, a Beatrix Potter book about a squirrel. So that was my squirrel. And then this page, I followed Anna's directions to do some kind of peekaboo windows with vellum. Eco dyed with alcohol ink. Okay, I got another one of the fabric tabs. And on this part of Tommy Tiptoes, I put a squirrel stamp. Folded over the Edith Holden page here and just put a die cut on it, and I have a tag made with Tim Holtz, and the other tag was too, with Tim Holtz collage paper. Okay, wrapping paper, some Ego dyed paper I made up in Wisconsin when I lived there yet. Okay, so signature 3, this, and I'm going to have to kind of pick it up and hope you can see it. This is a pocket that opens up like this, and I did put a tab here, and I just have some things in here, Tim Holtz things, plus I have a journal card that I had made. Okay, and that just hangs down like this, and then I put a little tuck spot of a bird, and I just have a piece of Tim Holtz ephemera in there. That's the wrapping paper. Okay, and then here is the belly band pocket that I made. So I have the card made with cardstock and backed with some heavy coffee dyed paper with a little bit of book page and a fussy cut from a wildlife book, and I made like a little tassel to put off the eyelet on the side of this so that I could I needed a tab to get this out and in easily, and this is a piece of Tim Holtz ephemera behind it. Okay, and this is also on some of the mulberry paper. More alcohol ink, eco dyed, page from a wildlife book, eco dyed paper, Edith Holden. Another page of alcohol ink, eco dyed. I have videos on how to make the alcohol ink like that and how to do that dyeing on my channel. We have a tab here. This was a birthday card I had gotten from my sister in 1995, and I knew that because there was a letter underneath it. I'll take these things out. This, I put a napkin over it. You can still see the purple writing and make out some of the words beneath it, but most of the letter you can't read. And then I put ribbon on here to be like a belly band. This is a guest check with a piece of napkin on it with some leaves and acorns. It was a coffee dyed as well. And then this is a little envelope pocket that is made from book page, and in here there's also some scrapbook paper, and I just have some little pieces of ephemera in there, and I'll tie the bow up in a minute when I come back. And then back of the card I put a piece of book page that talks about just some like the nature things. Okay, and then we have this. Go through here. I have my faux specimen card where I used a piece of a washi sticker, and I have it attached with linen tape from Tim Holtz and a little washi tape. Uh-oh, stuck a little. I did not realize that that had stuck. Okay. It probably went through because this is mulberry paper. But I did a side edge little pocket here. And I have a Tim Holtz thing in there. Yeah, it's fine. It bled through the paper and then stuck to the one below it. I did put something in it. Little stenciling of ivy. Some wrapping paper. Tim Holtz cardstock. Okay, this is a piece of coffee dyed scrapbook paper. And there's my little tiny man in the tall red hat that ran by me in the secret garden, hiding in the growth of the flowers. Okay, and my garden gnome. And then another tab. Edith Holden. Some of the mulberry paper. Piece from a needlework book that talked about embroidering flowers, and there's a bee, and we have a dragonfly, ladybug, butterflies, and birds. This is also wrapping paper, eco-dyed alcohol ink, coffee dyed with some stenciling on it. I put this little side tab on. This one I have, it's muslin and coffee dyed muslin, and then this one has a little safety pin on it, and I pinned on this little dangle that I had made. I have a video on how to make these as well. And that's hanging off the edge. And then I have my page with stamps. Stamp, stamp. Nice girl from a good home, and another label on this page. And then the last signature starts with eco-dyed watercolor paper. And I just put these, this is Tracy Fox. Almost all my labels are. And then this is a Tim Holtz piece. This was a piece from a book. Flowers, a little stenciling here. This is wrapping paper. Put a little bird on, like it was landing on that. That weed. Mulberry paper. Alcohol ink, eco-dyed. Piece of Tim Holtz vellum. And I glued this in on each side just with a little glue, so I could put this peacock feather in it. And it does come out. It's not glued down or anything. Alright, last tab. Kind of going along here. Okay, and then this is an Edith Holden page that I folded in, and this is Andrew, her soon-to-be husband. That was a Tim Holtz. It has like a card on the back. But that's his picture. Isn't he handsome? I don't blame her for falling for him. Okay, this page I did a little stenciling on all four corners. This is the back side of that page, which I extended by putting this on, and I have a peekaboo with a flower in it. And the tab to open it up. And then this is a flip that flips up, and you can journal on here. And I just have this on with a little bird card, and then a Tim Holtz piece. And that is the end. And this is the writing board that when you go in and you have something bumpy, that you can put it underneath. For example, like this would be really hard to write here maybe with this underneath it. So you put the writing board in, and now you have a hard surface to write on. And that just has two sides, and it just slides here in the back. And I have my stamp with my name on it, and a little owl. So that is the back, and here we have some labels. I do have trim on both the front and the back here. This is, both of these pieces are laser cut ephemera that I embossed with embossing powder. And I do have the name in here, but it could be changed if you don't like that name. You want to rename it something else. And this is Edna, of course, on the cover. So that's it for my flip through of my secret garden, the hashtag CarolAnnaChallenge. And now you'll have to go over to Anna's Made by Granath channel, link below, to see how her final flip through turned out with her challenge. So thanks for being with me today. I appreciate all of you. Do something today that you absolutely love to do. And I hope to see you in my next video. This is Carol from Friendly Quail. Bye!